What is up guys, MKBHD here, and this is the brand new HTC 10. First impressions, as a new flagship smartphone, it's a hardware and software package that I think is pretty promising. So this is what we're working with here. First of all, this is definitely HTC, so full unibody metal jacket again from top to bottom, and it gives it that premium feel we're used to. And you only really hear about premium feel when there's usually either glass or metal involved, Samsung being the one that likes to use a lot of glass, HTC for the metal lovers. And it feels good in the hand, like a solid chunk of metal should. And they got a lot of the little things right too. I like the button placement. The ridged power button on the side below the volume buttons is nice for identifying it. And of course, HTC heard we like chamfers, so they gave us a chamfer like no other all the way around the back of this device. Nice big shiny beveled edge. But the sides are also still flat, so it's pretty easy to hold. And around the front, you have a 5.2-inch Quad HD display, and then capacitive buttons surrounding a fingerprint sensor / home button in the chin. Pretty common look right now. And the glass sort of wraps around the front as one big sheet of slightly curved edges. So it's definitely a pretty high-end feel. And on the inside, it is high-end too. Like I said, it's a flagship, so you have a Snapdragon 820 chip, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and a 3000 milliamp hour battery. Plus you do have expandable storage again in the form of a microSD card slot. There's also a USB Type-C port at the bottom. And now you're probably wondering, since this is an HTC phone, what's good with the speakers? Like, is there no massive stereo front-facing speaker? No, you do not have that, but you still have a system that HTC is calling Boom Sound, which is a stereo speaker system of a woofer on the bottom for the lower frequencies, and a smaller front-facing speaker up top for the higher frequencies. And they work in tandem. I thought this was an interesting solution to a problem that I'm not really sure anyone actually had, but so far it sounds decent. Again, it's no stereo front-facing pair, but it sounds pretty good. Now, the camera. This is also something HTC has clearly been struggling with for a little bit. This year, again, on paper, it's pretty promising. It's rocking a 12-megapixel camera with an f1.8 aperture and OIS. And pretty large pixels, 1.55 microns, so it's a big enough sensor for them to call it an Ultra Pixel 2 camera. And it should be pretty quick with laser autofocus and a fast camera app. And yeah, this is definitely something I'm going to be testing pretty often for the full review. I have high hopes for it, but yeah, right now it seems solid. And the front-facing camera is a 5-megapixel wide-angle shooter, again with f1.8 and with OIS again as well. So you can get those super study selfies. And then HTC did something I really like in the software department. First of all, it's definitely an overall cleaner version of HTC's skin on top of Android. It's more vanilla, it has this more material design look with a lot of the stock apps and the settings, etc. And then they worked with Google on this phone to reduce the number of duplicate apps that you get out the box that do the same thing. I've talked about this on previous phones. Samsung in particular, they'll have like 2 apps installed on every phone to do pretty much everything. 2 email apps, 2 texting apps, 2 web browsing apps, 2 of everything. And Google already makes most of their stock apps from Nexus phones available in the Play Store. So what HTC did was essentially remove any duplicate app that they don't need that Google already makes. So the default calculator app on this phone is the Google Calculator. The default calendar is Google Calendar. When you're taking photos with the camera and then you go to view them, the default gallery app is Google Photos. So I think it's awesome that they worked with Google to pull this off. I'm sure carriers will still find a way in the US to mess this up with all their pre-installed bloatware, but I like this step, so bravo HTC. Now you might be thinking, HTC, if you're just going to go all googly on us, why not just go full Nexus? Well, they still offer their own stuff with this software as well, so some fun custom launcher layout stuff. You get personal audio profiles with the super high-end 24-bit DAC in this phone, which is dope, and some battery optimization on top of Quick Charge 3.0, and even Apple AirPlay audio streaming right out the box, native support. That's definitely a first on an Android phone. So yeah, HTC 10, like I said, is a pretty promising package. I will be testing, of course, all of this stuff, including the higher-end headphones that come in the box for the full review, so definitely stay tuned for that, and we'll figure out if this really is the phone to save HTC. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.